Thank you. First, we'll have
This
approval of minutes,
conference will
report of
now be
correspondence,
recorded.
clerk, report of business from council president, public hearings, ordinances on second reading. 1, an ordinance to authorize the vacation of a portion of Church Street. 2, an ordinance to accept the dedication of a stormwater drain pipe easement. 3, an ordinance to amend the redevelopment plan for
Muted.
redevelopment area. 4, an ordinance to amend the redevelopment plan for downtown redevelopment area. Then we have ordinances on first reading. 1, an ordinance to adopt the redevelopment plan for the Sears site. 2, an ordinance to amend and supplement the revised general ordinances of the City of New Brunswick, Title II, Emergency Management Council. We have resolutions 1 through 57. 1, approve agenda amendments to approve payroll. 3, authorize refund for redeemed tax sale certificates. 4, approve award of contract with North Shore Corporation. 5, authorize lease of copy machine for the police department. 6, approve amendment of resolution R-102174 to approve relaxation of the city noise ordinance. 7, approve relaxation of the city noise ordinance at Terminal Road. 8, approve relaxation of the city noise ordinance for construction of the Plum 2 project. 9, authorize professional service agreement with Charlie Gaydon. 10, authorize professional service agreement with Hatfield Schwartz Law Group. 11, approve amendment of resolution R-042113 with John Duffy Fuel Company. 12, award professional service agreement to Delaware Raritan Engineering. 13, award professional service agreement to McManaman, Scotland and Bauman. 14, approve professional service agreement with Signal. 15, approve award of contract with Clean Air. 16, approve award of contract with the Associated Humane Societies. 17, authorize payment for 911 emergency dispatching services with Rutgers. 18, approve award of professional service agreement with Arthur Sabot. 19, approve amendment of resolution R-012157 with Savola. 20, authorize purchase by the police department with Mall Chevrolet. 21, approve service agreement with Everbridge. 22, approve amendment of resolution R-032112 with Lucas Brothers. 23, designation of official newspaper. 24, authorized professional service agreement with Hoagland, Longo, Moran, Dunstan, Dukas. 25, authorized professional service agreement with Spatial Data Logic. 26, authorized professional service agreement with DeFrancesco Bateman. 27, authorized professional service agreement with BRB Valuation. 28, authorized professional service agreement with Civil Solutions. 29, authorized professional service agreement with Vital Communications. 30, authorized professional service agreement with Mont McDonald. 31, authorized professional service agreement with Robert Wood Johnson. 32, approve award of contracts with Savola. 33, approve amendment of resolution R-032134 with Core and Main. 34, authorized purchase by the water utility with Core and Main. 35, approve award of contract with Prime Point. 36, authorized professional service agreement with Phoenix Advisor. 37, authorized professional service agreement with Walens Goldman Spitzer. 38, authorized professional service agreement with Samuel Klein. 39, approve authorization to advertise. 40, authorized tax collector to transfer overpayments on several tax and utility accounts. 41, authorized tax collector to cancel tax sale certificates due to erroneous charges. 42, approve amendment of resolution R-122184 with Sally Electric. 43, approve amendment of resolution R-052142 to extend temporary road closure dates. 44, authorize professional service agreement with Bridgewater Veterinary Hospital. 45, approve award of contract with Municipal Software. 46, authorize extension of contract with Wellness Coaches USA. 47, approve amendment of resolution R-012149 with Business and Governmental Insurance Agency. 48, approve resolution to provide police traffic control officer allocation. 49, approve agreement for the use of CDBG funds. 50, approve award of contract with the Puerto Rican Action Board. 51, approve award of contract with Roberts Engineering. 52, approve amendment of resolution R-122129 with Mont McDonald. 53, authorize lease of copy machine for the mayor's office. 54, authorize professional service agreement with Instinct Municipal Systems. 55, cannabis endorsements for state licensing. 56, approve award of grant for rehabilitation home improvements. 57, authorized professional service agreement with OnSum Engineering. Then we have items for discussion by council, COVID-19 update. The next city council meeting will be Wednesday, February 2nd at 5:30 p.m. The meeting will now come to order. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Anderson.
Here.
Councilmember Egan.
Here.
Councilmember Fleming.
Here. Here.
Council Vice President Escobar.
Here.
Council President Socorro Ludwig.
Here. Please be advised that the notice requirements of the Open Public Meeting Act have been complied with and satisfied, and that the annual notice, which gives sufficient notice of the time and place and conduct of all public meetings of the Municipal Council of the City of New Brunswick, has been filed with the city clerk, has been placed on an appropriate bulletin board and posted in the back vestibule of City Hall, visible to the public through the windows in the lobby of City Hall, New Brunswick, New Jersey, and has been transmitted to the official newspaper for the City of New Brunswick, namely Home News Tribune. Additionally, a 48-hour notice of time, place, and manner of conducting this meeting has been made by the city clerk on January 13, 2022, as is required by law.
The City Council intends to meet on a regular schedule and will meet the guidelines of the Open Public Meetings Act by utilizing a telephonic conferencing system through which the public may participate. The public is encouraged to call into the conference call system through the phone numbers and access codes transmitted in the 48-hour notice. During the portions of the meeting that are not open for public comment, all callers from the public will be muted. During the public comment period, those who have interest in addressing the council will first be organized by last name, then called upon to speak one time and for no longer than 5 minutes during each public comment portion of the meeting. A timer will chime at the completion of each 5-minute period, and the speaker will be notified that their time has expired. Public meeting assistance accessing the call-in number should call City Hall at 732-745-5007.
Thank you. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance if you're able.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And join me in a moment of silence to reflect and honor our military personnel and law enforcement officers who dedicate their lives to protect our freedom, safety, and democracy. May God guide them safely in their duties. Thank you.
Motion on the minutes. Second.
Councilmember Anderson.
Yes.
Councilmember Egan.
Yes.
Councilmember Fleming.
Yes.
Council Vice President Escobar.
Yes.
Council President Socorro Ludwig.
Yes. Madam Clerk, has the correspondence been directed to the appropriate departments?
Yes, Madam President. The correspondence received by the City Clerk's office has been forwarded to the appropriate departments for further action.
Thank you. And now I'd like to address some comments that were made at the last public portion of our last meeting. First, I have an update on body cams. 50% of the department is currently equipped, and they expect to be at 100% over the next 2 weeks. There have been no glitches in the rollout. The officers are very comfortable operating the equipment, from what I understand, and having the body cams in general. So there's been nothing but positive feedback up until this point. And I think we will all be happy to have the department fully operational in the next 2 weeks. Next, there was an issue regarding a light at Sanford and Joyce Kilmer. I reached out to Mr. Valenti the morning following the last meeting, and he had already identified the poll number and forwarded it to the appropriate person in the city to expedite the action in the interest of pedestrian safety. So thank you for bringing that to our attention. Then I just wanted to reiterate that spot 6580 space 1 on Kirkpatrick was in fact identified as a handicap spot and in need of paint and identifiable signage, weather permitting. That is being addressed. There was a question regarding the GIF fund, and I understand that was taken care of by email today. If you require any additional information for that, please reach out in the same manner. There was a question regarding the murders of last year. I understand there were 9 last year and 1 in this year for 2022. There was also a concern regarding, in general, the increase of crime and the action of our law enforcement and city engagement and awareness. Please excuse me 1 second, I'm sorry. My apologies, everyone. And I think we all share the same concern about the increase in crime in the city and in the country in general. However, I do believe that everyone on this council, in the city, the administration, our police officers, none of them are turning a blind eye. We're all aware of the situation. The NBPD works with county prosecutor's office, with all the available task force that they have available to them on a regular basis to prevent, avert, and solve instances of criminal action. They, along with city entities and community organizations, do have outreach programs that span from children and young adult initiatives to neighborhood-based initiatives and events that bring the community together to rally around peace and unity. While it is concerning to everyone, I do believe that the city is taking it seriously, and we are aware of it, and we are working on initiatives to make the community a stronger place. I also want to address a citizen concern regarding a mask mandate in private buildings. It is not within the jurisdiction of the city to mandate that type of action. And then several meetings ago, someone spoke about the potential for sound cameras due to issues of loud cars, I believe it was. And we asked them to forward information to us. The only information I received on that was an article about a potential pilot program that was being initiated in New York. There was no actionable data included in the correspondence. I can say that after that meeting, I did immediately follow up with the police department and ask them about increased patrol and sensitivity to this type of quality of life issue. And those are my updates for this evening. And now we'll move on to, we have no public hearings. So we'll move on to the ordinances on second reading. I just need to catch my breath. The first one is an ordinance to authorize vacation of a portion of Church Street in the city of New Brunswick. At this time, we're preparing to open the public hearing on this ordinance only.
Unmuted.
Minutes per person, 1 time up. Madam Clerk, will you please prepare a list?
Yes, Madam President. If any members of the public wish to speak on this ordinance, please state your name when the appropriate letter of the alphabet is called. Letters A through Z. E through G. Letters H-I-J. K-I-L. M through P. Q-R-S. And letters T through Z. Is there anyone A through Z who wishes to address the council? Please dial *6 to unmute yourself if needed. This will be the last call, A through Z, if you wish to speak on this ordinance. Okay, Madam President, there are no members of the public on the list.
Move the ordinance.
Muted.
Second.
I'm sorry, I thought you got me. This is Charlie Cradaville. I wanted to speak on this.
Sure.
Okay, Mr. Cradaville. Can we have, please have your name, spell your last name, give us your address for the record, please.
Sir, Charlie Cradaville, Kratov, and I live in the 2nd Ward of New Brunswick. I wanted to ask about this ordinance. Might be helpful just at the top to get a basic understanding of why this is taking place. My understanding that this will transfer the land that has been public land for a century or more, and it's going to be transferred to whom and for what purpose?
Well, I think at the conclusion of all this, it will be transferred to whoever develops it with compensation to the city in some form or another, and it does tie into the development of that technology to develop that site without it. As far as any other particulars, Mr. Shammy, is there anything that you'd like to add to that?
Yes, Madam Council President, with respect to the vacation of a street, as in this case, when the vacation is accomplished, the actual portion of property that was the roadway reverts to the property owners, the adjoining property owners. My understanding is the New Brunswick Parking Authority owns the property adjoining this area, so therefore title would go to the Parking Authority if the ordinance is adopted.
Thank you for that clarification. Mr. Cradaville, do you have any other comments?
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to say that, that was my understanding, and it's unfortunate that, it's taken so long for any signs of progress at this site. I know previous city ordinances contemplated this vacation or this process taking place in 2018, and for quite a while there, the street was shut down, not serving anyone, and now it's being given away. I get that the Parking Authority is going to receive it in the short term, but of course we all know that the plan is for New Brunswick Development Corporation to take over and do something with this. So, I'm not feeling great about the city giving up more public land ultimately to a developer here. Is there any compensation or any kind of anything that's going to be done to make up for the loss of this public land?
Well, Mr. Chairman, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you just said title reverts back to the Parking Authority, so any agreement would be between them. Is that correct?
Yes, right, but the ordinance does not contemplate compensation to the adjoining property owners of that particular area that at one point was the roadway. So no, there's no compensation provided for in this ordinance.
Okay, well, I would suggest that if DevCo is ultimately going to acquire it, they should pay for it. And that's all I have to say on this one.
Thank you for your comments. Please, 2 minutes. Can I have a motion, please?
Move the ordinance.
Second.
Councilmember Anderson,
Yes.
Councilmember Egan,
Yes.
Councilmember Fleming,
Yes.
Council Vice President Escobar,
Yes.
Council President Socorro Ludwig.
Yes. Next, we have an ordinance to accept the dedication of a stormwater drain
Unmuted.
in and across a portion of Block 280, Lot 1.0 at 261 Livingston Avenue. At this time, we're preparing to open the public hearing on this ordinance only for up to 5 minutes per person, one time up. Madam Clerk, can you please prepare a list for us?
Yes, Madam President. If any members of the public wish to speak on this ordinance, please state your name when the appropriate letter of the alphabet is called. Letters A through Z, E through H, I through L, M through P,
Danielle Moore.
okay, Ms. Moore. And letters Q through Z. Is there anyone A through Z who wishes to address the council? This will be the last call, A through Z, if you wish to speak on this ordinance. Please dial *6 if you need to unmute yourself. All right, Madam President, the first person and only person on the list is Ms. Danielle Moore.
Muted.
Thank you. Good evening, Ms. Moore. Can you please state your name, spell your last name, and give us your address for the record? Ms. Moore?
Hi, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. Can you please
Can you hear
state your
me?
name, spell your? Yes, ma'am. Can you please state your name, spell your last name, and give us your address?
Danielle Moore, Moore, Somerset Street.
Thank you.
Well, first question I do have is, you can tell me what area this is, what block this is first before I ask my question.
Block 280.
I know it's lit. Well, can you please tell me what area, what side street is this close to? I know it's on Livingston Avenue, but for example, is it close to Fulton Street? What side street this is next to, please? I don't know offhand, just by you saying block 280, what area, what does that mean? So if someone can tell me what area.
Mr. Shammy, are you familiar with the exact area of this easement?
I'm at a loss as to the intersecting street, but I know it's a block past, I believe, the Borai Real Estate office over there. It's on the opposite side of Livingston Avenue from my office. So I don't know the intersecting street. I know Mr. Burke may be on the call and be able to give the intersecting street.
Madam President,
Who else?
Dan Burke, engineer, I can address.
Yes.
I can address it if you'd like.
Yes, if you could just give us the.
The intersecting streets are Wellington and Edgeworth Place.
Thank you. Go ahead, Ms. Moore, with your question.
So then, thank you. Now that that was the correct answer. So is this going to be basically dealt with due to where they just knocked down the house over there on Livingston Avenue? So is this a project that's connecting with this?
Mr. Burke, is that correct?
There is a development approval for this property which fronts Livingston between those two adjacent streets I mentioned. There was a residential property fronting Livingston on the Edgeworth Place that was recently demolished. That precedes the proposed development. Yes.
Thank you.
And sad to say how the city and the county is taking away the history of Livingston Avenue due to how they rented that location to redo Livingston Avenue just with the parking lot, and then how you ruined the house. It's just like, wow, you're taking the history of Livingston Avenue and knocking down things where, come on, I just say some things is outrageous. What you're taking away from New Brunswick and putting something else there. That was a very lovely house there, and for it to be destroyed, taking away history. Are you able to tell me what's going to go there now?
This ordinance is in regard to the easement for the drain pipe. So if you have any questions regarding that drain pipe easement, we'd be happy to answer them next time.
Well, okay, my question will be, does Livingston Avenue have to be dug up again, ruined again, after the county has paid over $6 million? With this project, does it have to be dug up again?
Mr. Burke, are they going to have to dig up for this project?
No, ma'am, they're not. The easement is just memorializing a throughway where an existing below-grade pipe exists and transferring that the right to maintain that pipe to the city. And it runs between Livingston Avenue and Wellington Place across the corner of the property in question. There will be no excavation on either of the streets resulting from the acquisition of this easement by the city.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Does that
Okay,
answer your
thank you very
question?
much. Well explained. Thank you. Well, everything's well explained. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Can I have a
Move
motion?
the ordinance. Move the
Second.
ordinance.
Second.
Councilmember Anderson,
Yes.
Councilmember Egan,
Yes.
Councilmember Fleming,
Yes.
Council Vice President Escobar,
Yes.
Council President Socorro Ludwig.
Yes. Next, we have an ordinance to amend the redevelopment plan for the Ferrin redevelopment plan area in the city of New Brunswick.
Unmuted.
This time, we're preparing to open the public hearing on this ordinance only for up to 5 minutes per person. One time up. Madam Clerk, can you please prepare a list?
Yes, Madam President. If any members of the public wish to speak on this ordinance, please state your name when the appropriate letter of the alphabet is called. Callers on the line ending in 0704 will need to dial *6 to unmute themselves. Letters A through D. E through H. I through L.
Charlie Cradaville.
Okay, Mr. Cradaville. Letters M through P.
Danielle Moore.
Okay, Ms. Moore. Letters Q through T. And letters U through Z. Is there anyone A through Z who wishes to address the council? This will be the last call, A through Z, if you wish to speak on this ordinance. All right, the list is now closed. Madam President, we have
Muted.
Charlie Cradaville.
Thank you. Good evening again, Mr. Craddock. The floor is yours.
Good evening once again. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I'll get right to the point. I know a lot of people really want to know what's planned for this site in the heart of downtown, formerly the Ferrin Mall. Can you summarize what the plan is?
I can summarize what the redevelopment plan is. I mean, that's all that is in place right now. And I think you're aware we amended some of the permitted uses to include medical, research, development, laboratory, education uses such as a medical school. I think some of the intended users, which were identified at the board meeting that we last had, were RWJ, Rutgers, University of Tel Aviv, and Hackensack Meridian. We did eliminate the sky plane setbacks in this new redevelopment plan to promote flexibility in design. And we did change the parking requirements to 0.6 spaces per every 1,000 feet, taking into accountability the proximity to mass transit in the city and in the effort to promote the site as it's intended to be a transportation hub. And I think that one of the other things that we changed was we adjusted the signage to permit larger signs that would be more suited on a large scale building. And if I don't know if you were looking for any other particular information. If you are, I can certainly ask Mr. Dominguez to assist us.
Thank you. I appreciate the thorough response, and I do, take issue with a couple things. I think that, there's a reason that the sky plane standards were in the plan before. I went back and listened to the recording. I didn't hear a good reason why they were being eliminated, other than, DevCo wants them to be. And as far as the parking goes, I'm very concerned about what the plan is. I know there's a giant parking deck right next to the site that probably has some room to spare in it these days, especially since the supermarket went out of business. So I'm curious, if you foresee additional parking being built on the Ferrin site, since obviously you're accounting for it, you're requiring 0.6 spaces. Do you see another parking deck being built there?
I don't think that the intention is that another parking deck is going to be built on that site. I think they're anticipating that the developer will utilize the wellness deck for the parking at this point, especially in the first phase. But Mr. Dominguez, do you have any other insight to that?
No, that's correct. The plan envisions that that parking, if not provided on site, would be provided at the wellness deck.
Thank you.
Okay, and finally, I'd like to know if the site is still contaminated and what that means for the timeline of when we might actually see, you know, a development project proceed or open.
That I will have to defer to Mr. Dominguez. I'm not aware of the specifics of that. So do you have any information regarding that, Mr. Dominguez?
I do not.
Okay, well, I would submit that would be a really important question to answer. Is why I've been asking it since 2018 when the governor came here to talk about this development. I think it's pretty shady what's going on so far with it, and you know the county has hired CME associates to be in charge of the cleanup, and we're not hearing any type of update unless we ask. And when we ask, the update is usually not substantive or conclusive. So I am concerned if this is a contaminated site, why so much dirt was brought there, clean dirt from the other site, and dumped in the hole, and what's really going on here. I don't know if we'll ever get to the bottom of it, but if there's anything you can do to shine a light on it, I think a lot of people in New Brunswick are paying attention here. So that's all on this item, President.
Thank you for your comment, Mr. Cradible.
Madam President, the next person on the list is Ms. Danielle Moore.
Thank you. Hello, Ms. Moore, can you hear me?
Hi, yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. The floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. I will continue with what Mr. Cradaville was saying about due to where we were told the purpose of the dirt being brought there, even though this looks like due to where I say the dirt was brought there due to where you have too many construction sites going at one time, and they have nowhere to dump all of this dirt. But I do remember being told, which I'm still trying to understand how this project is going to go, due to where we were told at the county meeting that the purpose of this dirt being filled in there, it's to help redo the sidewalks. But I'm still trying to understand due to where I keep hearing postpone on what's being built there, what building and the construction that's going to be built there. And due to where the county said they're replacing all of those bricks and everything to redo the sidewalk. But I'm trying to understand, like, how they're going to do the sidewalk first, and then figure out what they're going to build. And then the way I see it, it just seemed like they would be ruining the sidewalk. So I say it's being done backwards due to where I say the construction should be done first, make a decision on what you're going to put there due to where they keep changing so many situations, and then the other plan. And that was a situation due to where even at the planning board meeting where we were discussing, wow, you shouldn't make a decision until you know what the full complete project is going to be. So are you able to tell me what is something going to be, the construction site going to be built first before the county is going to replace all of those sidewalks there, taking out all those bricks and do safer sidewalks? So which one is going to be done first?
Ms. Moore, I do appreciate your comments, but this particular ordinance is for the redevelopment plan. It is not for the site plan or the process of construction, so it's not the appropriate time to speak about those particular issues. If you have any issues regarding this redevelopment plan that we're adopting, then I'm more than happy to try to answer them.
Well, maybe I'm not understanding you, but so what are you saying is to be done with this plan?
This redevelopment plan is enabling, as I was speaking to Mr. Cradaville before, we are enabling more permitted uses. We changed the sky plane setbacks, and we changed some of the parking standards for this, as well as the signage. That is a general redevelopment plan as to what will be allowed there. It does not speak specifically to any type of site plan, a project site plan. So this is just for the redevelopment plan as it relates to the city master plan.
Well, see, thank you. I'm glad you said that, due to where so what you're saying, you're still trying to make up your mind, suggesting what it could be. I still don't see how, until you make a decision what this site plan is to be, how are these other projects regard to connecting to this is going to be done? Like I said, too many projects trying to go on at one time, and I just have to say, it's not looking good.
Do you have any other comments, Ms. Moore?
No, thank you. Just too many projects going on at one time. Not good.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, do we have any other speakers for this ordinance?
No, Madam President.
Go, Jordan.
Second.
Councilmember Anderson,
Yes.
Councilmember Egan,
Yes.
Councilmember Fleming,
Yes.
Council Vice President Escobar,
Yes.
Council President Socorro Ludwig.
Yes. Next, we have an ordinance to amend the redevelopment plan for the downtown redevelopment plan area in the city of New Brunswick. And at this time, we're prepared to open the public hearing.
Unmuted.
Ordinance only for up to 5 minutes per person, one time up. Madam Clerk, can you please prepare a list?
Yes, Madam President. If any members of the public wish to speak on this ordinance, please state your name when the appropriate letter of the alphabet is called. Callers on the line ending in 074 will need to dial *6 to unmute themselves. Letters A through Z.
Adrian,
I through L. Letters M
Cradaville.
through. Okay, I have Mr. Cradaville. Letters M through P.
Danielle Moore.
Okay, Ms. Moore. Letters Q through T. And letters U through Z. Is there anyone A through Z who wishes to address the council? This will be the last call, A through Z, if you wish to speak on this ordinance. All right, this is now closed. Madam President,
Muted.
person on the list is Mr. Charlie Cradaville.
Thank you. Mr. Cradaville, please proceed.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So as you'll recall, this is the downtown redevelopment plan. As my understanding, if you approve this, it would lock in the redevelopment plan for an additional 30 years. And I wanted to understand what was the date that the plan was most recently adopted prior.
I think the last amendment to this plan was in 2009, and I believe this is creating just a sub area in the whole downtown redevelopment plan. Is that correct, Mr. Dominguez?
So the purpose of the plan is to create a new sub area within the plan, yes. And the last time that it was amended was January 21st of 2009. So that is also correct.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah, I guess I'm curious why, I guess it's already in the redevelopment area, so you have to keep it in the redevelopment area. Is there any reason that you have to reenact the entire redevelopment plan just to do this one, you know, change for one property, one block?
Well, it's creating a sub area. It's creating an overlay within that area, so it's not affecting any of the other downtown redevelopment area. That's my understanding of it. And I defer to Mr. Dominguez if I'm speaking speaking incorrectly.
You're correct. You're correct. But to you know, bring the information forward, that's just the way that it is for the amendment of redevelopment plans. Any change, any amendment, you have to readopt the plan, essentially. That's the mechanism for amendment.
Thank you for the clarification.
Maybe you can help me. Sorry, Madam Council President. Maybe you can help me. What prompted the city to revisit this redevelopment plan after, I guess, 16 or 17 years? Did a developer approach the city and ask for changes?
Yes, I believe that's correct. I believe Bore did approach the city, and is that also, I'm going to just ask you to speak a little bit about it, Mr. Dominguez, so I don't keep going back and forth.
Sure. Thank you. So just to clarify, yes, we received a request from the Bore Development Group about some possible changes to the area in question. We found them to be in line with the plan and the fair and site that's going on next to it and changes going on over there, and thus we proceeded to have the plan taken to the planning board, and we're tonight with hopeful adoption for the changes to the plan.
So
thank you. And I don't know if you
need.
I can address some of the changes, Mr. Cradaville, if you wanted to know those.
Well, I guess what I wanted to know is what their plans are. They want to build on the parking deck, the current parking deck. They want to replace that with a building. Is that safe to say, or is this some other piece of the block?
Yeah. No, I believe that that's exactly what the intention is.
Okay. Well, I guess my comment would be that the city should not be doing any favors for this company. This is a company that has shirked their obligation to provide affordable housing in the past in the city of New Brunswick. And, you know, I know Mr. Dominguez is aware of the situation at 29 Charles Street. And, you know, I hope that, you know, when the Boreis come to ask for favors, that they're being reminded about the situation there where now many families, my understanding, were you know, lost their home, and the city has used the Make It Count money to pick up the tab at a hotel. And I'd really like to know what the Boreis are doing about that situation, but that's not particularly relevant to your redevelopment plan. I just think that, you know, if the reason to do this is reflexively to do it as a favor for the Boreis, that's not a good reason. That we should, you know, hold the developers to high standards here in New Brunswick. Thank you.
Thank you. And I just want to address one comment that Mr. Cradaville made. I don't believe there are any favors being done for this particular developer. These changes that were made to this redevelopment area and this overlay zone are in accordance with the master plan that we have in the city. And they also tie into the redevelopment plan and the changes that are in the Farrandeck area. So they're promoting development in the city and not necessarily, I mean, they certainly weren't done as a favor. I just wanted to make that very clear. And now I'll take the next speaker.
Madam President, the next speaker is Ms. Danielle Moore.
Thank you. Ms. Moore, if you can hear me, the floor is yours.
Hi, yes, I basically heard everything I needed to. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Moore. Were there any other members of the public who wish to speak on this, Madam Clerk?
No, Madam President.
Thank you.
Move the ordinance.
Did I have a, yes, thank you.
Second.
Councilmember Anderson,
Yes.
Councilmember Egan,
Yes.
Councilmember Fleming,
Yes.
Council Vice President Escobar,
Yes.
Council President Socorro Ludwig.
Yes. Now we have two ordinances on first reading. The first one is an ordinance to adopt a development plan for the Sears site in the city of New Brunswick.
Move the ordinance setting down February 2nd, 2022 at 5:30, same day to be advertised.
Second.
Councilmember Anderson,
Yes.
Councilmember Egan,
Yes.
Councilmember Fleming,
Yes.
Council Vice President Escobar,
Yes.
Council President Socorro Ludwig.
Yes. And finally, we have an ordinance to amend and supplement the revised general ordinances of the city of New Brunswick, Title II, Chapter 2.36, Administrative Agencies, Section 2.36.010, generally G, for Emergency Management Council.
Move the ordinance setting down February 2nd, 2022 at 5:30, same date to be advertised.
Second.
Councilmember Anderson,
Yes.
Councilmember Egan,
Yes.
Councilmember Fleming,
Yes.
Council Vice President Escobar,
Yes.
Council President Socorro Ludwig.
Yes. Now we're going to move on to the resolutions, and at this time, we're preparing to open the meeting to public comment. Resolution only for up to 5 minutes per person, one time up. Madam Clerk, if you would again, please prepare a list for us.
Unmuted.
Sure, Madam President. If any members of the public wish to speak to the resolutions only, please state your name when the letter of the alphabet is called. Callers on the line ending in 704 will need to dial *6 to unmute themselves. Letters
Adrian Balaam.
E through H. Okay, Ms. Balaam?
Christo.
Okay, Ms. Balaam and Mr. Cristo.
Thank you.
Letters E through H, I through L,
Charlie Cradaville.
M through, okay, Mr. Cradaville. M through P,
Danielle Moore,
okay, Ms. Moore. Letters Q through T,
Linda Stork.
okay, Ms. Stork. And letters U through Z. Is there anyone A through Z who wishes to address the council on the resolutions only? This will be the last call, A through Z, if you wish to speak on the resolution. The list is now closed. Madam President, the first person on the list is Ms. Balaam.
Thank you. Ms. Balaam, can you please state your name, spell your last name, and give us your address for the record?
Adrian Balaam, Balaam. My address is 297A Caldwell's Road.
Thank you. And,
Muted.
please proceed with questions and just let me know which resolutions you're speaking of.
I don't really have any too much for the resolution. My concern is, why do you guys open this?
Ms. Balaam, the public comment portion follows the resolutions and some other business that we take care of. So there's opportunity to speak in general at the end of the meeting.
Okay, because the other thing, I tried to push mute and say my name, and it didn't catch me. But okay, I'll wait until then, because my concerns are to you.
Yeah, and
so I'll wait until the next time. I'm sorry.
okay, and then please, no, that's okay. And then please do, if you need to, press *6 when we're at that portion of the meeting.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Madam President, the next person on the list is Mr. Cristo.
Thank you, Mr. Cristo. If you could please give us your name, spell your last name for the record, and your address.
Hello, Cristo, South Houston. Am I recognized?
Yes, you are. Which resolution, sir?
I just want to say that I apologize. I came in real late, and because I'm on my cell phone now, I was trying to pull it up on the PDF. Could I come in after hearing a few people speak so I can understand what's on the resolutions? Because I'm having a problem accessing it on my phone. I thought by now I would have accessed it. I don't want to take up any more time. Would I be able to come back at the end of the resolution, sir? I can, it's up to you.
I mean, if you can access the information and you want to be put at the ends of the list, I'll ask the Madam Clerk to move you to the end of the list for the resolutions. And if not, if you want to address anything in the public comment portion at the end of the meeting, you're more than welcome.
Thank you. God bless you. I'll come back at that shortly.
Thank you. Who's next, Madam Clerk?
Madam President, the next person on the list is Mr. Charlie Cradaville.
Thank you. Hello again, Mr. Cradaville. The floor is yours.
Hello again. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We'll start with number 6 and number 8. I want to point out that the City Council is poised to relax the noise ordinance for 2 different Robert Wood Johnson developments. It appears that you want to allow them to make noise until, I guess, tonight, every night, starting to Friday. And, I'll point out that the promised replacement Lincoln Annex School to be named for the late Blanquita Valenti, that project is 3 months behind the schedule that was advertised, and we just learned last night that the structural steel won't be going up for 3 months. So why are we doing extra to help Robert Wood build their stuff, but we can't follow through on the school that's supposed to have made it all okay?
Well, from a city council perspective and the resolutions, that this project is at the point where we need to accommodate these types of actions, that's where they're at. When the school gets to that point, we will be addressing that as well.
Okay, I mean, I think construction noise until midnight is a bit much for the residents to have to deal with there. It's already a busy enough area. I'm sure you would not want to have this in your area, and I feel like the city council should be looking out for the community. I will move on because I have limited time. Number 20, the purchase of 2 Chevy Tahoes. What are those for? What department? It's the police department.
Those are for the police. Yes, they're for the police department, and they're replacement vehicles for 2 supervisors.
Okay. I do see a lot of police vehicles driving around, and I almost never see the officers on foot. So, I think buying a couple of additional large SUVs for $83,000 might not be the best use of the city's resources. Regarding the Nixle system, number 21,
yes.
we hear from the police department what they use it for. I understand you advocated to have it be used when the mayor issues an executive order, probably a good thing to broadcast those. What does the police department have any policy in place whatsoever for when they use the Nixle system and when they don't use the Nixle system?
Deputy Director Miller, is this something you'd like to address?
Yes, I can address that, Madam President. The police department uses the Nixle system when we feel it is important to alert the public certain needs, particularly dangerous issues like and traffic concerns. We try not to use it for routine. We don't use it for routine announcements because we found that the public can become complacent if too many Nixles are used. So we use it for important announcements.
Thank you, Deputy Director.
Okay. Well, I can think of some pretty serious things that have come up that have not garnered a Nixle alert over the years, but I won't belabor the point. I'll move on to ask about the water meters 33 and 34. Why is this two separate resolutions? And have we finally purchased enough water meters to replace the whole city?
Well, one of them is for contracting services for a company that's going to come in and complete the process with the water meters. We have approximately 2,000 left to install in the city. The second one is for the purchase of that equipment. And the reason that we are hiring outside services to do this is because the city has really come up, they've done as much as they can at this point. There are certain houses that we can't get into, and it's more cost efficient at this point for the company to come in and handle all the professional services and the customer communication. It actually brings down the cost per meter, and it allows our employees to focus more on repair work and all the other stuff that they handle. So that's how those two are tied together. And your time has expired, but thank you for your comments. Who's next on the list, Madam Clerk?
Madam President, the next person on the list is Ms. Danielle Moore.
Thank you. Ms. Moore, if you can hear me, your time starts now. The floor is yours.
Hi, yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, well, first I would like to comment on number 20 as well. Due to where I see you can afford over $80,000 for new vehicles, now that I know that Captain Miller is on the line, due to where, while I think the city and the police department ought to look into replacing at least, I'm not going to say exactly 8, I will say about 8 New Brunswick police vehicles where only one headlight, your brake lights is out. So I feel that, wow, you can afford this much money. Please make sure that all your vehicle lights are working properly, following the law. Because I surely see enough headlights out on the police vehicles and brake lights. So hopefully you will look into that as well if you can afford $83,000 for just 2 more vehicles, where I have to say New Brunswick vehicles, police vehicles need to go through inspections and the proper things where they need to follow the law as well, where having the proper headlights and brake lights as well. One thing I would like to speak on, that's regards to that's 43. If you can tell me what this is for over there.
Yes, this is the area over by War Memorial Park, and if you recall, we temporarily closed that road. This is going to be an extension of time for that closure. They've found that it's become a well-used pedestrian area, and the closure of that street has also promoted more safety in regard to the reduction of accidents that occurred in that area. So this is an extension of time for that.
Well, I would surely say that is not true at all, due to where after the city paying over $150,000 to redo over there, that has not made it safer over there at all, due to where wow, if you, all the council members, please go get the police reports. I know Captain Miller would just tell me that nothing would happen, even though I can have the pictures or whatever over there. But wow, I think all of you need to investigate. Wow, ever since you really made that bar into a liquor store as well on the corner of Jersey Avenue or French and Handy Street, where how much more things have been happening over there. So it's not safer over there, because I'm surely going to speak on public comment due to where, the more drugs and liquor over there, sexual harassment, car accidents, how many times people are still being picked up over there. So believe me, what you put in, or the waste of money to feel that you're making it safer over there, where the cops have been and ambulance have been over there every day for the past week and a half. So like I said, it's not safe over there at all, and I pray that the police department and the city council would start doing their job investigating. If you plan on putting a school there, and I'm saying as a grown woman, it is not safe for no school for too much sexual harassment. Well, I am going to speak on public comments when it's time for that, but please, I don't know where you're coming from saying it's safe over there. I think you need to go investigate all the police reports of what's going on over there.
Ms. Moore, if I can briefly,
And,
I just want to clarify. Ms. Moore, if I can, just very briefly, I want to clarify for you that I was speaking in the reduction of car accidents that were occurring in the area from the cut through of that street when it was open. That was what my comment was in reference to.
It's still car accidents over there, so that wasn't the cause over there. It's
Okay,
still, so
you
please
can-
go investigate the police reports. And then I would like also last one to comment, that's 48. This is what I was talking about with the project with Farron Mall, due to where I'm still not understanding how is this project with Eastern Avenue, French Street, Albany, and Spring Street, and the intersection down by the train station there. I don't see how this is going to be done and not interact with what's going to be done, going on with the Farron Mall.
Okay, we can take your comments under advisement. Do you have any other resolutions to speak on?
And that will be all. Just if you could just answer that one, please.
Well, you just made a comment that you didn't understand how it was going to work. I can't, I said we'll take your comments under advisement. And if I could have the next speaker, please.
Yes, Madam President, the next speaker is Ms. Thorpe.
Thank you. Ms. Thorpe, if you can please state your name, and give us your address for the record, I would appreciate it.
Yes, good evening. Linda Stork, S-T-O-R-K, 12 Park Boulevard. So,
Thank you. Go ahead.
Actually, number 48 was one that I was also going to ask about. What is the $250,000 for specifically? It says to provide police traffic control officer allocation. So that,
yes, this is so that this is for traffic safety, for pedestrians, for people, for safety for the community when the construction is going on. We need to have officers there as we do at all projects, and that's what this is being allocated for.
okay, so they will be actively, guiding people to safely cross the street, or
They will be
just
doing
parking
whatever
their
their
cars
job
down there on
entails
the right?
to. They should be doing whatever their job entails to promote the safety of everybody around the site.
Oh, because a lot of times it just seems to entail like parking your car somewhere and looking at the phone. I mean, literally not even looking around, let alone getting out of the car to help people try and navigate, a difficult situation. The one after that too, 49. What is that exactly? Why does the money go to Union County Economic Development Corporation rather than Middlesex County.
Yeah, I'll explain that because it's not a county organization per se. It's a company, and it's the only company who bid on this project, and they've been getting the award from us for the past 4 years, and they do work with all different areas of the state. It's not something specific to Union County. And what this grant will cover is the salary of one person who will be, and I believe that her function will be tying, what they do is tie people and businesses into loans. So that's what this is, and it's not a Union County specific thing, even though it does sound that way.
Okay. So anybody that wants to start a micro business in New Brunswick would be able to contact this person and get help to do it?
I'm not sure of the specific. Mr. Dominguez, I mean, this is for a company that's already set up and they are there to provide services. I don't know if it's every single company that's out there that wants startup, but I'm sure they could contact them for information. And Mr. Dominguez, please correct me if I'm wrong or misstating anything.
That sounds all correct to me. They also have several trainings every year where you can connect with them and learn about opportunities. Yeah, so they're available.
Right. Yeah, because a dedicated full-time person just for New Brunswick, they should be available.
It's not a dedicated person. It's not a dedicated person for New Brunswick. It covers the salary of the person for that company who does that type of work. And as I said, this company is not specific to Union County. They do work throughout different areas of the state. So.
Oh, but we're not getting a dedicated person for $60,000. We're just paying one random person in their company.
No one is getting a dedicated person, but the company is covering a salary through the company.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, has any analysis been done of what we get back for that? Like,
this is grant money that we give. This is grant money that we give out to people. This is the only company who's bid on it in the past 4 years. They meet the qualifications, and that's the money is dispersed to them. They are a reputable company, and Mr. Dominguez, like I said, make sure they meet all the requirements for it.
Okay.
This is grant. This is grant money being dispersed.
Oh, okay. Okay. I mean, so the conditions of the grant probably have there's probably conditions that need to be met. I had a question about 31. What is that about? The Robert Wood Johnson physical physician services, or who?
Thank you. Your time has expired, but I'm going to ask if I think that this is for employee services, but I know Ms. James is on here, but Mr. Drulis, do you have any other information about the physician services?
If it's okay, yes, Madam President. I'm sorry. Ms. James,
hello?
please.
Yes, Ms. James, are you on the line?
I am on the line. Can you hear me?
Oh, yes. Could you please just speak briefly about what this is?
Sure. It's physician services is for pre-employment physicals for the police officers and firefighters, and also for other employments other than police and fire. It's pre-employment, and then it's back to work for if they need to go out, and then they have to go and get back, back to work exam, and that's what it's for police, fire, and for other employees for the city of New Brunswick.
Thank you very much for the explanation.
You're welcome.
And now I think if Mr. Christo is on the line, we can go back to him if he's prepared to ask questions on the resolutions only.
Yes, I'm right here. Can you hear me?
Yes,
hello?
Sir. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yes, go ahead.
I'd like to speak for number 48. I don't understand. The police officers are going to be working. Is that an on-duty assignment or off-duty assignment?
Mr. Burke, I know your name is by here. I'm not even sure if you would have an answer to that. I believe it's on duty, but I need some clarification.
Yes, ma'am, I can address that.
Thank you.
Madam President, I can address that. The city entered into an agreement with the county for the improvement of the Easton Avenue, Spring Street, French, Albany improvement, which is ongoing. And as part of that agreement, we agreed to a monetary contribution to the construction, as well as providing police traffic control services. What you're seeing here is the funding of the extra duty officers. A portion of that was pre-allocated by council under a capital ordinance, and this is just the allocation of those funds for that effort. It's ongoing. It will be continuing. That project is expected to continue through the remainder of the year and complete hopefully by the end of the year if things proceed as anticipated. But that's just it's just the funding for our agreed contribution of police traffic services to that construction project.
Thank you.
So the taxpayers, so is that an on-duty assignment or off-duty assignment? Because if it was an on-duty assignment, I don't think you would have to allocate the funds, $250,000 to the side. You know, it looks to me like an off-duty assignment. Why can't we just tell our police officers that they're already working throughout the day, maybe even auxiliary officers, hey, stand over there? Why are you making the New Brunswick taxpayers put
Mr. Berg just described, Mr. Berg just described that this was a agreement we entered into with the county to provide these services by our officers for this project, and it is extra duty.
You know, I don't understand. I don't understand that. So who's paying these officers? The taxpayers.
Yes, sir.
But we're already paying their salary. So that's what I don't understand. Why can't we just tell a bunch of auxiliary officers, hey, go stand over there? That's what they normally do. Why do we have to spend an extra $250,000? To me, it seems like there's some kind of scam going on. I'm sorry, but that's how it looks like.
No, there is no scam going on. We only have so many officers, and when we need to provide these kind of services, we need to provide extra duty to do them.
Okay, I would like to speak for 55 in regards to the. Hold on, because I zoomed in and out. It's the one that has to do with cannabis endorsements.
Yes, what's your question?
Okay, well, my problem is this. If we're going to have people and they're putting in their cannabis applications, okay, we can't discriminate on anybody. I understand that there's a lot of socialist Democrats out there, and they're saying we have to put minorities in the applications first. And you get double points if you're a minority and a female. You get double points for these things now. So, and then when I bring up to them, hey, this is discrimination, you can't do this, they think, oh, no, it's not discrimination. We're prioritizing them first. And that doesn't make any sense to me. Miss Council President, New Brunswick Town Council, I want you to promise us all you won't discriminate on anybody. If there's a white applicant, you will consider them, especially a white male, because a white male is the most discriminated these days and age. And God forbid you're a white male police officer, because, huh? Yes, ma'am?
Go ahead. Mr. Cristo, your time expired. Mr. Cristo, your time expired, and I'm not sure what that interruption was. It wasn't on the city's end. It may have been someone else, but thank you for your comments, and we'll take them under advisement. Do we have any other speakers on the resolutions?
No, Madam President.
Thank you.
Move the resolutions. Second.
That was the communist interrupt.
Councilmember Anderson,
Yes.
Councilmember Egan,
Yes.
Councilmember Fleming,
Yes.
Council Vice President Escobar,
Yes.
Council President Socorro Ludwig.
Yes. So again, I mean, I'm going to move into some comments from the council, and I would just like to start by saying that I want to be very clear that the public comment is for public comment. You can comment on anything you wish within the guidelines of Robert's Rules of Order. You may pose questions in your comments as points of reference. I am on no certain terms trying to curtail, discourage, or minimize public comment. Your current concerns will be noted. They will be addressed accordingly at the following meeting. And if you have concerns that require immediate responses due to emergency situations in between council meetings, I mean, by all means, do not wait 2 weeks to come to this council and speak. We have the reported app, and we have the administration and all of the people in the city who are available to you during business hours every day of the week. So again, otherwise your comments will be addressed at the following council meeting after you make them here tonight. And secondly, as it pertains to the nature of information from the police and fire department, I want to be clear about that too. A lot of the stuff that they provide regarding incidents and statistics is very sensitive in nature. That's why those specific requests need to be put in writing. That has always been, I mean, as far as since I've been sitting here, that's been policy. We're not spewing statistics during the meetings, and we're not here to have a back and forth conversation during the public comment portion. This is your time to make public comment. We encourage it, we utilize it, I make notes on it, and I do address it at the following council meeting. I just wanted to speak to that because there seems to be a little bit of confusion over that last week. And then also there's a prediction of snow for tonight, so please remember to, if you can and if you want to, you can remove your cars off the road. It helps our guys with the plows, and it eliminates problems for emergency services to get through. And you can find that information on the city website. So next, I'd like to ask Council Vice President Escobar if she has any comments she'd like to make this evening.
No comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Anderson, do you have anything you'd like to address this evening?
Nothing at this time, thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Egan.
Nothing at this time, thank you.
Thank you. And Councilman Fleming.
No, nothing. Nothing.
Thank you. Next, I'll ask Director Walls, or I'm not sure if it's Director Walls or Mr. Allen, to give us a COVID update.
Hi, good evening. So, in keeping with the mayor's executive order, the city of New Brunswick has an indoor mask mandate for facilities of public accommodations in effect until January 31st. City of New Brunswick has 2 dedicated pages on our website for COVID testing and vaccination. For COVID testing, www.cityofnewbrunswick.org/COVID testing. And for COVID vaccinations, www.cityofnewbrunswick.org/COVID vaccines. As always, we will continue to share major COVID news via our social media and our city website, cityofnewbrunswick.org. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Rawls. At this time, we're preparing
Unmuted.
the meeting for public comment for up to 5 minutes per person, one time only. Madam Clerk, for the function tonight, will you please prepare a list?
Yes, Madam President. If any member of the public address the council, please state your name when the appropriate letter of the alphabet is called. Callers on the line ending in 0704 will need to dial *6 to unmute themselves. Letters A through Z.
Christo. Mike Crawford.
Okay, Mr. Crawford?
Did you get my? Yes, Mr. Crockford.
Okay, I have you.
Mr. Christo.
I have you, Mr. Cristo. Thank you. Letters E through
Richard
H.
Anderson. Richard Anderson.
Okay, Mr. Richard Anderson. Letters I through L.
Thank you.
M through P.
Sorry, Charlie Cradaville.
Danielle Moore.
Okay, I have Mr. Cradaville and Miss Moore. Letters Q
Thank
through
you.
T.
Linda Stork.
Lakeisha Thomas.
Okay, I have Miss Stork. And letters U.
And Ms. Thomas.
Okay, I have Miss Thomas. Is there anyone else, A through Z, who wishes to address the council? This will be the last call, A through Z.
Madam
Okay,
President,
the
there's
list-
Ms. Bellum.
Madam President, Councilmember Anderson is asking if you would like to call for Ms. Balaam.
Oh, yes, please call to see if she's still on the line. Just as a reminder.
Ms. Balaam, this will be the last call before we close the list. Okay, the list is now closed. Madam President, the first person on the list is Mr. Rich Anderson.
Thank you. Mr. Anderson,
Muted.
you could please state your name, spell your last name, and give us your address for the record.
Richard Anderson. Anderson. And my address
Thank you.
is 235. Okay.
Go ahead, you can start with your comments.
Oh, okay, thank you. So I'm from Fair Use Building and Research Labs. We're a tenant at 100 Jersey Avenue until January 31st. We're a nonprofit makerspace. We were founded and based in New Brunswick, New Jersey. We've been serving the community for the last 12 years. Our nonprofit provides like a tech gym to support the community, access technology like 3D printing, augmented reality, building robots, machine learning, all kinds of great tech and community. We, as our organization, we help people around the community learn about that technology, build their own projects, and become entrepreneurs. So my comments are regarding the Jersey Sanford redevelopment plan. I'm not sure this is happening as people have expected, but all of the existing tenants were given 1 month notice to vacate the facility. So with that 1 month notice, we're all searching for space at the same time. If we had had time, we would all have found different places to go. It would keep us in New Brunswick, but I would think that we're all panicking, trying to find new spaces, and we're sniping spaces from each other. So it's a little out of control. So anyway, our neighbors are competitors in this case, but we have really awesome neighbors like New Brunswick Boxing Stars. And we also had another group, YMD Engineering, which had been there for 35 years and got 1 month's notice. So the things on the table are, well, we all want to stay in New Brunswick. Who can we contact about the redevelopment project? Who do we contact to see if there's a future with us in it? What can we do to work together, you know, as a community to stay in New Brunswick? You know, there was discussions about relocation resources, but there's really no documentation that clearly states, and there's been no conveyance to us that's what are the options, and can this new redeveloper get us something? We also need to know who in the New Brunswick organization to contact about this redevelopment plan. So anyway, there's a bunch of questions around that. We want to stay, but we're having a lot of difficulty, and we could use, the city's support and interest to find a way to stay in New Brunswick like we have for the last 12 years.
Well, thank you, and thank you for your dedication to the city. I'm going to ask you to reach out to Mr. Dominguez in the Economic Planning Department, and I assume he's going to be able to help you with some of your questions. Did you get that information?
I have his information, yes.
Okay.
Well, but there's just a bit more to it because, we're entrepreneurship, all of these things, and given the options, it's still not clear, how, where this group of people, how we can coordinate. So I guess we'll talk to him, but I do believe this is a bit bigger of a problem because we're like all going for the same rental spaces.
Okay, and I will look into your comments as well, sir. But the conversation should be started, I believe, with, he'll be able to help you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Madam President, the next person on the list is Mr. Christo.
Thank you. Mr. Christo, the floor is yours.
That's the name they gave me. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. So I feel like we're living in the twilight zone right now. I'm very disgusted with what's going on, but I'm also very proud with the tennis star, Novak Djokovic, a hero. They're trying to force him to take the vaccine. He doesn't need the vaccine. And he says, hey, this is up to an individual decision. Now they have forced him out of Australia, the next tournament in France. They're already threatening to keep him out of there. And as a proud Orthodox Christian, a Serbian, he is staying against the pressure. This is not about the signs. Now the tennis league and others are saying we cannot allow him to be the face of the anti-vax movement. So we have to stick it to him. Everything that's going on is absolutely disgusting. Healthcare is not a one-size-fits-all. What might work for one person might be potentially dangerous to another person. I find what's going on is very political. You can see a lot of the athletes around the world dropping dead. Soccer players dropping dead from heart attacks. And it's not the COVID that's killing them. It's the vaccine. And nobody wants to come out and say the truth. I challenge Charlie Crowderville. I challenge New Brunswick today. Hey, come out and say the truth about the vaccines. What's going on, Charlie? We cannot no longer cover up the Democratic Party. What's going on? It's not just the Democratic Party. It's the two-party system. They'll always come in together. How much time do I have left, Madam President, who I respect so much?
I don't have the clock. Who is keeping the clock? And can you please give Mr. Christo his time?
Madam President, he has 2 minutes and 35 seconds.
Damn right I do. So basically what I want to say is what's going on, it's absolutely crazy. The other day I went to go order a drink over at the Dunkin' Donuts. Old people that I respect so much all my life, they respect me all my life. And all of a sudden, old Greek guys, all of a sudden, I'm not one of them anymore. Why am I not one of them? Because I did not take the vaccine. It's like I'm an alien to them. And it's not because they're scared about catching anything. Right now, there's an agenda where people are being brainwashed. Science doesn't matter anymore. Anytime you bring out real science, it's being denied. So one thing that's more superior to science is God. So my faith in God, I know something crazy is going on, and I don't want to be part of this program. Soon you guys are going to start knocking down doors and force vaccinating people, possibly putting people in concentration camps. And I just want to say this. If that day comes where you guys start knocking on people's door and forcefully vaccinating people, even though it could be against someone's religion, some people consider it the mark of the beast. You can go to hell for accepting something like this. You can't buy or sell. That's exactly what you guys are doing now. You're saying, make their life a living hell. Make sure they can't buy nothing, sell nothing, play tennis like the star Novak Djokovic. So when that day comes and you knock down my door and try to force vaccinate me, please do not force vaccinate me. I would rather the government kill me than betray my God, betray my religion. What's going on is absolutely disgusting. You guys are separating families. You guys, with your politics, you guys are separating people that they've been friends with each other their whole life. And, you know damn well what you guys are doing because it's your party doing it, all right? Everyone on that council is a Democratic scumbag. You all got party favors from the MCDO. You understand? You guys probably flipped the Cuso some dirty money where that's how you got your position.
Guys out of order.
Thank you for your comments. Bye. Who's next on the list, Madam Clerk?
Madam President, the next person on the list is Mr. Crawford.
Thank you. Mr. Crawford, if you can please state your name, spell your last name, and give us your address. Mr. Crawford, you may need to dial *6.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I had to unmute myself again. Yes, Michael Crawford, CROCKFORD, and New Brunswick. I'm also a tenant at 100 Jersey Avenue. I'm a carpenter. I've been there for 4 years, just a little over 4 years. I've been a carpenter in New Brunswick for almost 35 years. I was part of the crew at Crossroads Theater before it was on Livingston Avenue. I've been here a long time, off and on. I have my own business. I fabricate for artists, and I make furniture, and I make cabinetry. I do a lot of odd things. I scrape by, but I make a living, and I'm pretty happy at what I do. I'm pretty good at it too. I, like Mr. Anderson and perhaps 40 or 50 other tenants, I'm not really sure how many of us there are, was served a notice under my door a few days after Christmas, saying that I had to leave the premises peaceably. I don't know what that's about, but we were basically given 30 days to get out. I have a 2,400 square foot shop with machinery, hundreds of board feet of material, of art supplies, of you name it, it's in there. There is no way in hell that I, even with a crew of 5 people, could be out of there and up and running somewhere else in a month. There's just no way. So this is a shock to me. When I got my PPP money, I basically gave the equivalent of all of that money to the landlord in August. It was a lot of money, and I was thankful that I got it, because if I didn't get it, I would be out of business already. But the thing is, I'm not going to survive this. I survived COVID. I'm not going to survive this move. This is killing my business. And I don't know how many other tenants are going to be destroyed by this, but I'm going to be destroyed by this. There's no way. As Mr. Anderson said, we are all looking for the same stupid places, and we're basically, I haven't done it, but cutting each other off, So I hope I have enough time to say what I want to say. I'm pretty well studied in these things, and so I was like, how could this happen? How could this happen? And so I went and I looked, like, I want to say, I talked to my landlord, when I gave him all that money, and I said, you know, I need to know that this building is, you know, that there's a rumor that this building is being sold. And he said, no, who told you that? This building isn't for sale. We're not selling this building. I said, well, if that's the case, well, when you do plan to sell it, please give me a year's notice. Give me at least 6 months notice so I can make plans. It's really, really hard. When I moved into New Brunswick with my business from Brooklyn, it took 3 months between the time I closed the last store and the time I turned on the machines in this place. 3 months of no income. And that's what I'm facing right now. 3 months easy of no income. And so I went and I looked at all the city council stuff and planning board stuff, and I found a videotape with Mr. Dominguez talking about Accurate Builders, who apparently bought my building, our building, and apparently bought a bunch of other buildings along the way. You know, the piece of property that they have control over stretches almost a quarter mile down Jersey Avenue. You know how long, like, it must have taken years for that to transpire. How come I'm only finding out about what is happening to us on January 4th when I saw this letter? Why is that? So I'm actually very anxious in public speaking, and so I'm sorry. I'm not really saying everything I want to say, but I watched this videotape with Mr. Dominguez giving a presentation to the planning board, and in that meeting, Mr. Dominguez said that Mr. Cortica asked Mr. Dominguez. Mr. Cortica was the only person who asked about the tenants in the building. Like he asked Mr. Dominguez, what was the plan? Was there any plan for the existing businesses? And I'm sorry, I'm out of time, aren't I?
No, that's okay, Mr. Crawford. Your time has expired. I do appreciate your comments, and I'm sorry for the position that you've been put in. I'm not certain of the legalities that surround the issue that you have, but I'm certainly going to speak with Mr. Dominguez this morning, and I understand you guys are all in contact and see what kind of resources
No, we're
you
not.
have.
We're not in contact. But but Accurate Builders was. He said that Accurate Builders gave the indication that they were going to help us. There's no indication of that whatsoever.
All right. Well, I'm going to ask you. Your time did expire, sir, and I feel terrible for what's going on with you. But I'm going to, if you can, reach out to Mr. Dominguez in the morning. I don't know if all of you speak together, but I'm going to try to work with him as well. And I'm going to take all this information you gave me and see, what I can ascertain from the situation too. And I'm sorry that I can't do any more than that this evening. But thank you for your comments.
Madam President, the next person on the list is Mr. Charlie Cradaville.
Thank you. Mr. Cradaville, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam President. I want to start by saying rest in peace to Nathaniel Edwards, Jr. He was murdered in my neighborhood on Sunday. It's the third murder to take place in broad daylight since April. And I'm very concerned about public safety here in New Brunswick. I know you mentioned in your remarks that there were 9 murders last year and 1 this year. I think it's important we say the young man's name and acknowledge the loss. He was just 23. And I did ask at the last meeting for a number of shootings in 2021, because obviously there were a number of shootings where no one died, but people were hit with gunfire. Madam President, do you have that number, or could you refer the question to the police to tell us how many shootings there were here in the city of New Brunswick in 21?
I do not have that number this evening. Deputy Director Miller, is that something you prefer in writing?
Yes, because I don't have that number off the top of my head.
Thank you. Mr. Cradaville, please continue with your comments.
Okay. Yeah. I wanted to ask, following up on what the gentlemen were saying about being kicked out of 100 Jersey Avenue, I'm very concerned. Obviously, the Puerto Rican Action Board has been a very impactful organization in the city. They're at 90 Jersey Avenue, part of the redevelopment plan. I understand they've sold the building. Can anyone on the council tell me, is PRAB going to leave New Brunswick?
This is a portion for public comment and your questions. You may pose any question you like and speak on anything you like, and they'll be addressed at the next meeting.
Okay, well, I'll look forward to it being addressed. I think this is an urgent issue. Incidentally, by the time the next meeting comes around, the folks who spoke to you will be forced out of their place if the landlord gets their way. And, you know, I think that, you know, whether or not PRAB stays in the city has been an issue that should be at the forefront for this council. I do want to follow up. I got to ask about this statement that the police made with the false information. You were the one who were able to find out the police department authored the gun violence firearm fact statement. I asked on the record Deputy Director Miller to say if he wrote that, and he said he would refuse to say who wrote it. He wasn't going to say who wrote it. Can anyone tell me why won't the Deputy Director answer the question of who wrote that statement?
I cannot. I mean, I cannot because I don't know why he made that statement. That those were his remarks.
Right. Well, he works for us, and I'm appalled that despite asking at every meeting since this false statement was made, we haven't been able to get any answers about who actually wrote it. And so I'm just going to give one more chance for the Deputy Director to answer the question, who wrote the false statement that smeared Azim Seawright?
I will note your comments and try to provide an answer for you at the next meeting.
I'll look forward to it. Sergeant Evans said he was going to meet with me to discuss the accreditation standards. I tried to obtain the accreditation standards and was told that I could only have a conversation about them, but not the actual standards in writing. Is Sergeant Evans going to make good on that meeting? Can Deputy Director Miller confirm whether or not he's going to actually follow through on his promise to meet with me?
I can, as I'm trying to say to you, Mr. Cradaville, this is your time. You can pose these questions, but this is your time for public comment, not a question answer session. And that seems like it's
Maybe
something
you can help me
you
with
want
this
to.
one because you talked about the mask mandate. Does the mayor's mask mandate apply to police officers at the police headquarters?
If it's a public building, I believe so, because I think you have to wear them in City Hall.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, Sergeant Evans came down and spoke to me briefly. He was unmasked. When I came back to take him up on his offer to meet, you know, I was told Sergeant Evans was done for the day and could not bother to speak with me. So I spoke to Captain Goldeski, who also came to speak to me unmasked in the police headquarters. So, you know, I'm supposed to be enforced.
Thank you for your comments, Mr. Cradaville. I will take everything under advisement and look into what I need to. Who's next on the list?
Madam President, the next person on the list is Ms. Danielle Moore.
Thank you. Hello, Ms. Moore. If you can hear me, the floor is yours.
Hi, yes, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Hi, yes, I would like to first starting off by thanking Mr. Keith Jones and Mr. Tom Valently on making sure that the street light has been put back on for public safety on the corner of Joyce Kemmer and Sanford. I thank you very much. I believe you saved someone's life with that light being back on. I will say also thank you to Mr. Jones and all the volunteers for Code Blue, due to where I think we're going to break a record of how cold it's going to be the next 10 days. So I will say thank you. God bless all the volunteers as well for that. I will say thank you to the fire department as well for the big fire that they did have on Townsend Street. But it's kind of suspicious to me, how was that a group of homeless or was that people living there? I will move on, but what I'm going to speak on tonight is I've been a resident 45 years all my life in New Brunswick. I do not feel New Brunswick Police Department are doing their jobs and helping making our communities safe. I know I'm a woman to protect myself. I can protect myself, but honestly, I'm more scared of protecting myself because I'm a Black woman and I do not trust some of these, mainly these street crimers and some of these police officers. I have been seeing body cameras, but I feel that every one of them needs to be wearing a body camera due to where, like I said, it's a big situation where all of you council members ought to be ashamed of yourself for just saying yes and not investigating, make that in a major liquor store and a bar where you plan on putting a school. And please, like I said, take the time to look at the evidence of how many people are being picked up over there. And wow, out of this past week, I am very disappointed in the police department due to where, wow, 4 women sexually harassed and they still would not take this man in. I know none of you would appreciate no man walking up to you, touching your ass and grabbing you. And I don't feel comfortable where the man did it to me twice. And then even in Robert Wood Johnson, where I seen this man again, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to say it on here. I will not allow that man to come near me. If he comes near me again, I will surely mace him and knock him upside the head with a bottle. I do not feel New Brunswick Police Department is investigating. This is not legal marijuana. This is PCP space making people go crazy. The street crimers, these detectives are not doing investigations. What New Brunswick Police Department, like I said, God bless. I will say thank you to Sergeant Bobadilla due to where he did explain to me what I have to do to press charges on this man and get a restraining order. I will say thank you to Sergeant Dalton, where he's the only one out of all 4 calls with this man sexually harassing, spitting on women, even a postal employee over in that area of Walgreens, and he's still released. I will say thank you to Sergeant Dalton due to where he was the only one to take it serious to write tickets on this man. But while you keep letting people commit crimes, doing what they want in New Brunswick, that's why the crime is up in New Brunswick. You can say, Mr. Anderson or Miss Ludwig, oh, you feel that the police department is doing their job. Oh, this is happening everywhere. It is not happening the same way everywhere. You don't have 3 people murdered on one corner in the same location. You don't have so many incidents in the same location by Walgreens with drugs. The point is, New Brunswick Police Department is not doing their jobs and helping make New Brunswick safe. And I feel that, wow, you see more today, at least 10 police officers working on construction sites instead of, wow, like New Brunswick is fast and furious. These guys running up here trying to impress ladies, going 60 miles per hour. New Brunswick police officers there, what does he do? Did he even speed, take off, give him a ticket? Wow, hit and run over here on my corner the other night. Wow, crashed into 3 cars. They left the scene. You get them over there by the car wash. Wow, you still didn't write any tickets. How do you hit and run and leave the scene and no tickets or no one to be arrested? No tickets being pleased. What is New Brunswick really getting paid to do? Like I said, God bless. I know at least 10 officers that do have good hearts, and I'm not going to take it towards them where I trust them honestly, but for some reason, those are the ones that are working office duty. But some of these officers that are not from New Brunswick, and ever since you took away that law that you do not have to live over here anymore, the concerns in making New Brunswick safe with some of these officers are not good. Like I said, I haven't been scared to walk through here. Wow, all these cars were, Miss Ludwig, you said, certain tinted windows. Why is New Brunswick, you go.
Thank you for your comments, Ms. Moore. Your time has expired. We'll take everything under advisement. May I have the next speaker, Madam Clerk?
Madam President, the next speaker is Ms. Linda Stork.
Thank you. Ms. Stork, we have your information already. The floor is yours. You can start making your comments.
Okay, so I did not get to the end of my comments on the resolution, so I would like to make a comment on the resolution number 17. I was actually going from the bottom up. So the first one, it's authorized payment for 911 emergency communication, radio dispatching services for the police department. So it's a payment to Rutgers for over $1 million. How does that work? I understand there would be coordination between the radio and the emergency communications between the two police departments, but why do we pay them $1 million?
If you want to just continue with your comments, and I will address them at the following meeting, that would have been something that would have been addressed during the resolutions, and that time is not extended beyond 5 minutes. So just please continue with your comments, and I'll make notes.
Okay, so my other comment is just a kind of, I feel like a broken record, but it doesn't end with the continuing violence in our city. I just really feel like it should be the city stepping up to coordinate some kind of effort to get, community, police, community members and churches and, institutions and individuals in the community together to try and look for solutions and try something. And I do know, as Councilwoman Escobar has pointed out, there have been some events, and the events are great. And I did see her there, as well as Councilman Fleming at this very corner, where somebody else has now been killed. And I commend them for that. But I think that it should be a citywide, city effort to actually get something organized and get input from all the interested and affected parties, and try to look for some solutions, because just doing nothing isn't working. And I know it's not nothing, I do understand, but we obviously need to do more. And it needs to be a bigger, coordinated effort, and it needs to involve the police and the community together. So that's my comment.
Thank you for your comments and your concerns, Ms. Stork, and we will take them under advisement. Madam Clerk, do we have any other speakers?
Yes, Madam President, we have Lakeisha Thomas.
Thank you. Ms. Thomas, if you could please just state your name, spell your last name, and give us your address for the record. And if you're muted, it's *6. Can you hear me? Yes, ma'am. Go ahead. Hello?
Unmuted.
Yes, can you hear me? Yes, go ahead. You can begin to make your comments. Yes,
Okay.
we can hear you. Can you hear? Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I can hear you. So my comment is about the designated
Muted.
at the parking decks for snow. So when you allow someone to park their car at 6 p.m., knowing that it's going to snow that day, that night, going into the next morning, and the person has to leave the parking deck at 8 a.m., there is nowhere for us to park when we leave at 8 a.m. because A, the snow has accumulated overnight into the morning. It's still snowing, and now it's piled up. So I'm not understanding, I guess, the logic behind letting people park in the snow deck until 8 a.m. the next morning when it's still snowing, tons of snow on the ground. The streets are not cleared. We need parking 2 days at least so that the streets are clear and we have somewhere that we can park.
Okay, I do appreciate your comments and I understand your concerns, and I will look into that for you.
Okay.
And it'll be
I
addressed.
also want to make another. Okay, great. I want to make another comment. I mean, I didn't expect to, but my heart breaks for the tenants who are being we have to leave their business after 30 days. I've been born and raised in New Brunswick, still live in New Brunswick, and I think that we can evolve and develop without being so cruel and inhumane to the small businesses that make the city what it is. What they're going through is ridiculous. 30 days and they have to find a new location, pack up, tell their workers that they're leaving, new stationery, all of that within 30 days. I think that's really messed up, and New Brunswick can do better than that.
Thank you, Ms. Thomas. We are going to look into that situation as well.
You're welcome.
Do you have anything else? Thank you. Do we have any other speakers tonight, Madam Clerk? Oh, go ahead. Or do you have more to speak on, Ms. Thomas?
No, that's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Madam Clerk, do we have any other speakers tonight? Is Ms. Bellum on the line?
Madam President, we did not have any other speakers, and when I called for Ms. Balaam, I did not receive a response. We can check again.
Okay, and I just tried again as well.
Right.
Ms. Bellum.
Okay, no
we
more
could have a
members of.
motion to- Thank you. If we could have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Councilmember Anderson,
Yes.
Councilmember Egan.
Yes, good night, thank you.
Good night. Councilmember Fleming,
Yes.
Council Vice President Escobar,
Yes.
Council President Socorro Ludwig.
Yes. Thank you, everyone.